Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel, your go-to destinations for all things educational. Thank you for tuning in. I am Lana the Educator. If you're a first-time listener, welcome. Here we explore the latest educational trends, tackle pressing issues facing the education sector, conduct insightful interviews with people making a difference, and share stories of triumph and innovation from around the globe. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Why are we talking about September in October? Well, I wanted to keep you in the loop, and trust me, September wasn't just about back to school. It was a month full of learning, culture, and community. And I thought that there were many things happening that I should share with you. So while I've already covered the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival, you can see the link in the description below. Let's rewind a little bit and explore how some of the events I'm about to show you helped us to grow, reflect, and connect. So on September 6th, murder at the disco took place at the Angelo Bisesa Singh's Heritage House in Belmont. The dance floor was sizzling, and so was the suspense. It transformed Heritage House into a glittering crime scene where every guest had secrets, alibis, and even a motive for the potential murder. This immersive theater experience invited the audience, many of whom did not know each other. So it was open to the public, and you selected your spots, and then you came and you basically formed this setting of the disco. And then you kind of had this dinner experience where the invited guests were invited to step into the story and to interact with each other and piece together the clues in real time. So everyone wore their funky costumes, and then there were dramatic twists. So it was really a night of grooving and sleuthing and storytelling at its finest. But it wasn't just entertainment. This being an educational podcast, I think it was important to highlight how it was really a masterclass in local theater and creative education. Events like this really help us to explore narrative structure, character development, and the power of performance to help explore social themes in a fun, accessible way. So whether you came for the disco, for the drama, you really left with a deeper appreciation for the art of storytelling. And it really was for people attending and myself a unique, and novel and interesting experience in Trinidad. Next, on September 8th, was World Literacy Day. This day being a global reminder that reading and writing are gateways to opportunity. We marked the day with a special post on literacy advocacy because education really starts with access. So if you missed it, you can check it out here in the post or in the link below. This year's theme really focused on promoting inclusive learning environments and bridging literacy gaps across communities from digital access to mother tongue education. The conversations around World Literacy Day really highlighted how literacy empowers individuals to participate fully in society, not just socially, but economically and culturally as well. So whether you were a student or an educator or even an advocate, World Literacy Day really challenges us all to rethink how we support lifelong learning and make reading a right, not just a privilege. A little later in the month, we had on September 20th, the Culture Fair at Alliance Francais, which is an organization here in Trinidad and Tobago. This was really an event that highlighted experiential learning at its finest, I thought. It was hosted at the Alliance Francais. The Culture Fair really invited attendees into a vibrant world of language, cuisine, and cross-cultural exchange from French conversations happening. There were booths there. There was Creole storytelling, some live music and displays taking place. The event really offered a hands-on way to explore global traditions through a Caribbean lens. The Alliance Francais of Trinidad and Tobago is an organization that aims to promote the French language and the Francophone culture around the Caribbean. So this fair was really important, I think, because it offered experiential learning at its finest, hosted there on Alcazar Street at the Alliance Francais. The culture fair invited attendees into a vibrant world of language, cuisine, and cross-cultural exchange, from French conversation booths and Creole storytelling to live music and displays. The event really offered a hands-on way to explore global traditions through a Caribbean lens. Visitors got to sample dishes, you learn basic phrases in French language, and just engage with cultural ambassadors from different backgrounds. It wasn't just a celebration, it was a living classroom. Events like this help learners to connect textbook knowledge to real world experiences, which I think helps foster empathy, helps to promote curiosity and a deeper appreciation for diversity. So, for educators and youth advocates, it's a model for an inclusive curriculum design that's rooted in community engagement. This was experiential learning really at its finest, you know. It offered just global ways to understand and appreciate diversity, which is essential for any inclusive curriculum. A few days later, on September 23rd and September 24th, the iconic Moon on a Rainbow Shoal dramatic performance took place at the National Academy for the Performing Arts. This iconic Caribbean play is a rich resource for literature, history, and social studies. It brings post-colonial themes to life and sparks dialogue on identity, resilience, and community. It is written by Trinidadian playwright Errol John and really is a cornerstone of Caribbean theater and a powerful resource for literature, history, and social studies, as I mentioned before, not just those areas, but the classrooms where those areas take place. It was first staged in 1958. The play captures the post-war life in a Port of Spain tenement yard, and it offered a vivid portrait of the working class struggles, the dreams deferred, and the complexities of colonial legacy. It is set against the backdrop of the 1940s Trinidad. The first thing that really stood out to me was the set design. I was really impressed with it, especially the working standpipe. And it follows characters like Rosa, Esther, and Old Mark as they navigate poverty, ambition, and moral compromises in that tenement yard. And then there was the sharp dialogue and the layered relationships. The play really explored the themes of identity, of resilience, gender roles, and social mobility. So it was really and is really the ideal play for sparking classroom discussions on post-colonialism and migration, family relationships, and Caribbean identity. I think its relevance really endures because it doesn't just tell a story, it reflects lived experiences for everyone, especially students. It's a gateway to understanding, especially how history, culture, and politics shape everyday life. For educators, it's a rich text for analyzing dramatic structure, for character development, and for the use of setting as a narrative device. As I said, the set design really was the thing that stood out for me. Of course, the actors, their acting was very strong. I don't think there was really any weak person. The comedy as well, they really highlighted the little comedic aspects that are so part of the Caribbean experience. So this was staged at Napa. It remains a vibrant tool for cultural education and I think for emotional literacy because it didn't just cover all the niceties and the surface things that happen, it covered real issues that take place in the Caribbean and especially at that time. So it was a play, Moon on a Rainbow Shoal, that reminds us that behind every rainbow shoal is a story worth telling and a lesson worth learning. It's really a Caribbean classic worth taking a look at, worth studying, if that interests you. next on September 24th. Well, I said hello to you guys in a new, unique way on September 24th, which was Republic Day here in Trinidad and Tobago, which is, you can check out the link there, my post saying hi to you guys. Is Republic Day in any country is a civic education moment, so it was no different here in Trinidad and Tobago. It was and is an invitation to reflect on governance, on national identity, and on our role as citizens. But on that same day was also the launch of the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival, which you can take a look at. I did an entire episode on my experience there volunteering at the film festival, which is a living archive of Caribbean stories. It's something that was perfect for media literacy and for cultural studies. And you can check out the full episode here and my thoughts on that. A few days later, again, on September 26th, you had the 12th night plays. So moving from Caribbean classic plays to Shakespearean plays here, which took place at the Naparima Bowl, hosted by the Oratory Foundation, led by Deborah Jean-Baptiste. So you can check out my episode, my interview with her here in the link. And it's really looking at Shakespeare, sometimes with a little bit of a Caribbean flair. The Oratory Foundation's adaptation made the literature very accessible and relevant. And I'm relevant here because Twelfth Night is a play currently being done by literature students across the Caribbean. It's on their CSEC syllabus for Form 4, 5, some schools Form 3. So it's great for exploring themes like mistaken identity and gender roles and dramatic irony. So it's a play that you can check out. September 26th as well began Restaurant Week. And this is, as you know, a week filled with, just cuisine. And Trinidad is already rich and well known for the cuisine, but it was beyond food. And again, I always look for the educational aspect because I want to stick with the theme of this podcast, which is all things educational. And we can find things to learn in everything. So beyond this was a lesson in entrepreneurship, really, and hospitality and cultural branding. And these areas, especially entrepreneurship and hospitality, have been added to the CAPE curriculum at sixth form level here. So it's a chance to study really how local businesses innovate and how cuisine reflects heritage. That's something that can be discussed as well. September 28th, as we round off these month of September here, saw the Prime Minister's Best Village. This was an event that was a celebration of folk traditions, of oral history and community arts. It's a living classroom for cultural preservation and intergenerational learning. I'm sure all of us have been, and some of us maybe even participated in the Best Village at some point. We've been hearing about it for years. It took place on September 28th in Napa. And it was really, just a month full of celebrations there with music, dance, storytelling, and the pure community spirit. It was a beautiful showcase of our cultural roots. And there we have it. September was just a busy month, and that was just scratching the surface. It was a brilliantly educational month, and that's what I loved about it. So whether through theater, food, or civic celebration, each of these events offered a chance to learn something new and to connect deeper with our roots. So you can let me know in the comments which event you thought, most sparked your curiosity. October has already unfolded. We are here in October with lots more stories to tell. So as a bonus, I've posted a video for you to check out in the link below, looking at all things October. You have been listening to Lana the Educator. Remember, you empower minds and you ignite curiosity.